5 minutes tops. All right, no, we're not. But oh hey, but it is a very, very exciting time. As Joyce mentioned, I'm an attorney at the law firm Zuber, Lawler, where I practice securities law and intellectual property, and have been fortunate enough to be in the distributed ledger tech space for about as long as there has been one. And I'm extremely excited about NFTs and protecting IP.
What's one of the most important things that a creator should consider before they even make an NFT?
Well, I mean,
From a legal aspect.
I was going to say, they need to figure out what they're going to create, of course. Well, from a legal aspect, the thing to recognize is that the laws that you're currently used to don't quite fit. The Copyright Act was not written with NFTs in mind. The idea that you're going to copyright 10,000 generative whatevers is very tough, because each one of those is going to cost you like a $60 filing fee. So what's 60 times 10,000? It doesn't really quite work. At the same time, there are licensing aspects to things that are more difficult. Obviously, these things can move around and be encumbered in ways that nobody had contemplated, as far as being able to put a lien on a copyright or anything of that matter.
So what's the best way to get ahead on your plan, knowing that you're not going to operate to help protect your IP?
It becomes a business model question. So, if you look back 15 years or so, and Napster and Grokster and Kazaa were all happening, and the record labels were all at arms because all of their music was being given away, and they tried to fight that for a while, and it didn't really work. And what came out of that was new business models, and that's kind of what you're looking at right now also. And there's a lot of really great ideas going in terms of how to create kind of a long tail to a particular NFT and create community and create story and make there an investment so that people actually want to hold on to the NFT, not only for the JPEG that it might link to, but for the status and identity that come along with having that JPEG. For example, an ape that mutates and multiplies and gets you into parties and can be licensed for a hamburger joint in LA. Or a monkey. And go on-chain monkeys, yay. Shout out to the sponsors. Woo. Monkeys, on-chain monkey.
So let's talk more bananas.
More bananas.
As a creator, one of the things that's unique about NFTs is the one called the royalties.
I'm familiar.
But one of the things I've heard is as it changes platforms, sometimes the meta tags may not always stay, which may affect your royalties. Is there a way to help protect you from that?
Well, I mean, you're going to have tech solves that help with the metadata. I'm going to detour from your question though, because this is really something that's kind of key for everybody. So I imagine you guys are all aware that with the NFT secondary sales, through smart contract, you can kick a secondary sale royalty off to creators and everything. Everybody's familiar with that concept? All right. So what that did through technology is kind of an end around what we call the first sale doctrine. So if I write a book and I sell the book, whoever bought the book can then sell it to somebody else, and I don't get paid anything. That's the first sale. So now with the secondary sale royalty, that changed, okay? Now one of the things that changed along with it is that authors and creators and platforms now have an incentive to push churn within those particular NFTs that kick off the royalties, and to keep the floor prices up so that the royalties continue being larger. That actually is what has turned some of these into securities. If you're wondering what changed, that's the big thing that changed, is that at this point in time, your creator has an incentive to keep that value up and is making money along with the value rising. That's a different paradigm than we've had in thousands of years of art. So it's definitely something to keep in mind as you're creating your art, that just because it's art doesn't mean it's not also a security under the current set of law, which hopefully changes it sometime soon, but it's really important stuff to understand.
So if it changes it into security, are there other
security also? And this is kind of a thing to kind of get, the securities laws were never designed for financial products that also have a use case doing something else. Yes, you can put your IBM share of stock on the wall and look at it if you like, but that's not really what it was designed for. We're in kind of a new era now, so the fact that it's art, it's also a financial product at the same time, It can also be membership access. I mean, you can jam as many use cases into a particular NFT as you can imagine you can jam into it. And that's exciting stuff.
What are some of the most important considerations that artists should have before coming to something like that?
Short of being funded, which helps. Honestly, you really can't talk to a good lawyer too soon at this point. And that was probably true for commercial art pre-NFT also, so I'll give my profession a plug. I know we seem really boring and expensive and all, but it's really important stuff. In this era, get a lawyer involved while you're drawing out your roadmap. Because you're going to want somebody who spots the issues from a variety of different areas. Like, you might have an NFT that kicks out some type of a royalty share. Well, have you thought about what happens if that's going to go overseas and you've got to kick out some kind of a 1099 or tax reporting form, and there's tax treaties that are involved, and somebody in Iran buys it, and now you're violating all kinds of international law. And there's a lot of thought that kind of goes into this because it is such kind of a wide universe of use cases and possibilities.
One of the great parts I understand is that a good lawyer will save you time and money, especially because they're early.
Okay, thank you.
If you have to undo something.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, there's projects that have died because of that. And that goes to looking when you're road mapping to make sure what you want to do is actually legally doable. And this is something that happens more kind of in the fungible token space, but people will design their fungible tokens around what they believe the securities laws are, and they're just wrong about what those are, and now they've designed an entire token protocol and they've started coding it, and then they walk in the door and I'm sorry, I have bad news. Your project is scrapped. It's horrible. So try to avoid that.
In closing, I want to say one last thing, which is I've spoken to quite a few lawyers about NFTs and about projects, and you didn't ask me to say this, but I'm going to say this, is more about everybody else that I've spoken to, because when I, as a creator, know more than the lawyers that I'm asking the questions of, they have to get back to me, right? Then it's probably not the right lawyer for you. But Josh, you always keep bringing things up the right lawyer. So thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Big compliment. And thank you everybody for attending the event. We're really glad to have everybody here, and I'm glad that I could be of service speaking with you today.